Hey guys! Today we have an illustrious guest as we take a closer look at the USS Independence, the Tier 5 American aircraft carrier. The real deal made herself quite a history during World War II, and the in-game model is capable of some devastating strikes as well, though it will probably also cause a shock or two. But before we get down and dirty with the details, just wanted to point you impatient ones towards the timestamp in the description below. The gameplay footage this time is a bit longer, but the over 80,000 damage and the 2 kills will be worth it, I think. Anyway, now it's time for our history corner. The USS Independence was the lead ship of her class of light aircraft carriers, specifically converted from hulls of cruisers. She was launched in 1942, commissioned in 1943, and continued to serve throughout the Second World War, leaving her mark on the Pacific front. Originally stationed at Pearl Harbor, her first combat experience was the participation in a devastating raid on the Marcus Islands, where the carrier force did see most of the island's installations bombed to the ground. She later sailed with the carrier force to attack Rabaul and the Gilbert Islands, and shot down several Japanese planes during the attacks. During a Japanese counterattack, however, she could not shoot down all the advancing enemy torpedo bombers and suffered a direct hit causing serious damage. She had to be pulled off eventually all the way back to San Francisco for repairs. It was during this time that the Independence has begun training for special nighttime operations. This pioneering work deemed rather useful at later stages of the war. After rejoining the fleet, she took part in the preparations and eventually in the assault on the Philippines. During this time she took part in a multitude of operations ranging from daytime airstrikes to nighttime patrol and reconnaissance. She played a vital role in spotting and eliminating the Japanese counteroffensive, taking part in sinking, among others, the battleship Musashi and eventually the Japanese carrier group. Later she took part in the Okinawa offensive, carrying out pre-invasion strikes and shooting down many of the enemy aircraft. Finally, it carried out strikes directly against Japan itself and provided surveillance helping the occupational troops. Her final service was to take part in Operation Magic Carpet, helping the veteran troops get back to America. After the war, unfortunately she was assigned to less glorious duties. She served as a target ship in 2 atomic bomb tests, but refused to sink. Her highly radioactive hull was taken to Pearl Harbor and San Francisco for further tests, and eventually she was sunk off the coast of San Francisco close to the Farallon Islands. This last step is surrounded by a lot of controversy, however, as it is claimed that she was sunk with barrels of radioactive waste on board, which has contaminated the wildlife refuge and the commercial fisheries in the region. A quite unfortunate event to an otherwise glorious service record. So I guess after all this history lesson you are wondering if the Independence is capable of such amazing feats in the game as well. Well, yes, no, maybe. You see, the Independence in-game is in a weird spot in terms of balance. It's not underpowered, but it can get into a lot of trouble really easily with the opponents she will face. The problem starts when it goes up against Tier 5 and Tier 6 battleships which suddenly have an effective AA armament, and the enemy fighters from a Tier 6 Saipan that deal more than double the damage than our squadrons. Combine the two, sprinkle on top some more effective cruiser AA fire, and you can already see how shockingly fast your level 5 fighters and torpedo bombers will just melt away. If you are not careful, or you mess up your trajectory, you will literally lose all planes before they get to fire even a single torpedo. It will be probably a couple of times that you lose all your planes during the match, and you just sit there scratching your head before you start to realize that you have to start picking engagements more carefully. Another important lesson is that you have to try and utilize the AA capabilities of your teammates as well. Stick to the main force, or try to lure the enemy fighters above battleships and cruisers, and start the fight there. Fully upgrading your planes helps too, but it's not nearly enough by itself. At the maximum, you will have 37 planes at your disposal, able to control 3 squadrons at a time, 6 planes each. So unfortunately, no upgrade from Tier 4 in this regard. You will now have the possibility with the basic layout to use dive bombers as well, but at their current stage they are more for harassment than damage dealing. What you have to know about them is that they reload fast, they cause a lot of fires, but do a lot less damage than torpedoes. And at the moment, you really don't have to worry about manual aiming with them, as it's absolutely not worth it. They could get more potent when AP bombs are introduced as well, but we will have to see that a bit later, I guess. As for your defense, with the upgraded hull, you have literally no secondary guns whatsoever, effectively meaning that you have nothing on your ship that could directly shoot back at enemy ships getting closer. Not that the result would be much different to what you had in the Langley, to be honest. The AA arsenal looks a whole lot better with 14 20mm guns, 9 double 40mm mounts, and 2 quad 40mm mounts in total. Problem is once again that the higher tier planes will laugh this in the face, and shooting down one enemy plane won't save your butt. As for the rest, you have a health pool of 36,700, that's alright, and you even have up to 127mm of armor in places, which is a welcome change. Of course, you will mostly be destroyed via torpedoes and high-caliber HE shells, but hey, never say never to a bit of extra armor. At least your speed is now definitely better at 32 knots, but you still won't drift around the islands with a turning circle of 870 meters. But at least now you can actually move around, even if you still won't be able to escape a dedicated attack. Visibility is alright from the sea at 10.3 kilometers, but what you have to keep in mind is that from the air, you are already visible from 11.5 kilometers away, and those scout planes will come and look for you, guaranteed. Upgrade-wise, you have quite a lot to unlock, but as things slow down at Tier 5 regarding riding experience, and due to the reasons specified above, I suggest to invest in the upgrades to get the most out of your time with the Independence. The only mandatory upgrade is the hull that leads to the Saipan at Tier 6, but you want to have it anyway due to the extra 7 planes capacity. You also have 3 loadouts. As basic, you have 1 dive bomber, 1 fighter and 1 torpedo bomber squad. The first upgrade gives you 2 fighters and 1 torpedo squad, the second gives you 2 torpedo squads with 1 fighter. I would still go for this attack layout. Torps still do the most damage, and your fighters are not going to be good enough to be purely focused on harassment most of the time. And furthermore, as enemy battleships start to be more agile, going up against them with only 1 squad of torpedo bombers will not give the same results as if you would put them in a crossfire. You can also upgrade both the fighters and the torpedo bombers one time, giving them more health and speed. Just do it. They will need every single buff they can get. If your account is also at Tier 6, you have now access to additional ship upgrades as well, similar style than the equipment system in World of Tanks. I would totally suggest investing in the fighter upgrades, giving you an additional boost to health and damage. This will help you a lot to make your fighters more of a factor on the battlefield. So, it's verdict time. Well, I did enjoy it despite the early shock, but I think the true power will come with the higher tiers. In its current state, the Independence feels underpowered in a lot of situations, but this could be also only due to the fact that in closed beta I had to go up against higher tier opponents all the time. But that's probably enough talk. Let's have a look at how all this translates during the game. Alright, so here we are in the USS Independence in a standard battle. Luckily, we are the top tier CV. Woohoo! Thank God there is no Saipan on the enemy team. By the way, if you are wondering, CV, that you will often hear describing aircraft carriers, or carriers, stands for carrier vessel. So, yeah, these guys can be called quite a lot in the games. Alright, so as we had a quick look at the team lineup, we see that there will be a Miyogi class battleship and 2 Fusos tier 6 level battleships on the enemy team, with quite a lot of cruisers. Now most of them are tier 4 Phoenixes, but there is also tier 6 Aoba. And the tier 6 guys, yeah, here we go. So the tier 6 guys will give us a lot of trouble in terms of AA fire. We have to be really careful with them. If they are grouped together, it's just a no-go. You can't go there trying to engage them because your planes will be shot down way before they get into an attack position. At the same time, as there is only one enemy Independence on the battlefield, we will be able to, hopefully, successfully harass their fighters. And there is the first battleship, cruiser there. Let's get out of the way. Oops, misclick. Not with the ship. And come on. Yep, we are already taking a fire from that cruiser. Luckily we can avoid it. Also have to reposition the torpedo squads. And that lone battleship looks like a priority target. Alright, let's see if there is anything else here. Okay, there is one. And, ooh, enemy cruiser there as well. That's less than ideal. But let's make the attack run anyway. And we try to put him in a bit of crossfire. And that's, I think, the Miyogi from the enemy team. He's turning.
Group 3, approaching engaging enemy.
And unfortunately we were not able to adjust it anymore. But that means that he potentially turns into our other torpedo salvo, and now he is screwed. And how many will we hit? 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, that was not a bad one. I have to be honest, I did work quite a lot on manual aim, but I just can't get it right. So what I did is, because you have to, you see the problem with manual aim is you have to judge the speed of the target, and I'm not very good at that. I can lead my shots quite well when I'm firing my main batteries from cruisers or battleships, but leading the torpedoes just right is something I have quite a lot of trouble with at the moment. So what I usually do is I try to put them into crossfire with the torpedo squads if they are moving, and I only use the manual aim if they are a stationary or a very slow moving target, or let's say if they just bumped into each other or run ashore. In that case, manual torpedo run can be devastating. And now we play the waiting game. Fortunately, we have to reload. And I won't push ahead with my fighter planes. I'm looking for something I can harass. And also try to light up those pesky destroyers for my team, because they are a huge threat. And the game so far looks pretty alright. We are leading by 3-1. Okay, it seems the enemy CV is making another run, so try to get more into position. He is probably coming for the battleship and maybe the cruiser if it has been spotted down there. Ooh, that was a big one. Yeah, I think that's the Miyogi. So that means both of the Fusos are to the right.
Ready for takeoff.
And now torpedo squads are coming back up. So it's time to do some more damage.
Airborne. Group 3, ready.
It also seems that this is probably the safest place I can be at the moment. I really don't want to get more closer to the front, which probably I should, but it's really dangerous. Not in this matchup, perhaps, as there is only one enemy CV, so there will not be as many scouts, and they only have one destroyer left. But in a lot of games, I see 6-7 destroyers on the enemy team. You will just get shredded when you move closer to the front. Also, if there are higher tier CVs on the enemy team, that means you will get spotted more easily if they know what they are doing. In the meantime, we're trying to harass the torpedo squad. Probably we are being shot at from the from the AA guns of that battleship, Fuso, and yeah, we would have to disengage here. So you see how quickly our fighters melted away, just from the AA guns of that one battleship.
Returning.
Yeah, let's go back and re-aim. Ooh, somebody run aground. I want me a piece of that. Can't do it.
Waypoint reached.
He's slowly reversing, and hopefully he will reverse just in the line of my torpedoes. It looks good. It's a tight spread. Oh yes, son. You are so screwed. Tuck, tuck, tuck. There we go. Oh man, it would be so amazing if I would be able to do this all the time, but there you go. If somebody screws up, you can really make them pay for it. And Fusos are turning really fast as well, meaning they can avoid a lot of the enemy fire, and I'm trying to adjust here. That also means that my torpedo squads have to dance around it.
Approaching target.
He puts down some serious AA fire on these guns now. I still was able to launch a torpedo run,
Returning.
but I already lost 3 planes. It's less than ideal. What? What? Did you see that? Holy crap. I think we did blow his ammo rack or something. I don't know what it's called in this game. His magazine. Jesus Christ, did you see that? That was one torpedo hit for 46,000 damage. Well, seems tier 6 battleships are not as tough as I thought. Well, that's of course not true, but holy cow. Well, that should come in handy for the team. It's one less Fuso to worry about. Holy moly. Even I can get lucky sometimes, it seems. Anyway, let's not get carried away. Let's focus on the game. So, fighters will be back up shortly.
Airborne.
It's been restocked with some of the extra aircraft we have. And it seems the team is very much occupied in capping. And there is a battleship sneaking around towards our own cap. And we are being capped as well, so there is someone in the cap circle. Probably that bloody destroyer. It's really difficult to spot. So I will try to take some spots for my friends with the planes. Come on. Where are you, you bastard? Probably around the he's hiding around that island. I don't see any smoke screen. Where is he? Unbelievable.
Waypoint reached.
Ah, there he is. And that's probably not the smartest thing to do, because that Fuso is approaching. And my fighters will get into his AA range very soon. Yep, there we go. It's taking fire. Yeah, probably it's better if we engage the battleship with our torpedoes. He seems to be quite occupied. Firing at our cruiser. Tries to reset and take down the destroyer, so that should allow us to put some good fire into him. The second torpedo squad will be up shortly as well, which is good. The follow-up run.
Engaging enemy.
Okay, torpedoes away. And it looks good.
Returning. Returning to ship.
I don't think he noticed, and now he's turning, but it's too late. 1, 2. Well, it's not the best, but we did some damage. Okay.
We're under attack.
And unfortunately, cruiser has been taken out. And the enemy team did pull it back quite nicely. So we are still leading by 9-5, so it's not that we will be in huge trouble. But they are capping our base. There is a battleship and a destroyer. And it will be really hard. There is a smoke screen. Bloody hell. And it will be really hard to get a reset on a destroyer with torpedoes. Thankfully, it seems one of our battleship comes back to help reset. It's great.
Approaching target.
Okay, torpedoes away. Let's see
Returning.
what we can score. We don't see the battleship because he's in the smoke screen. So let's see the damage indicators. There we go, one hit. Yeah, we got one torpedo out of it. Yeah, it's not the worst. And in the meantime, we managed to cap out. So that was a victory. Holy crap! That was a high damage roll. 46,000 damage with one torpedo hit. Wow. And overall, apart from that one, it was an alright game. It was not super amazing. We got really lucky there with that hit sinking with one hit a tier 6 battleship. Jesus. It's not bad. Even so, we are only second by experience earned, and there you have it. 81,000 damage dealt with the torpedoes with the 10 hits. Wow. It's quite amazing. Yeah, that was a really lucky hit. I mean, even without it, it was alright. We did above 30,000 damage, which is pretty much an average run for me. But I think we did well overall. So the Independence, fun little ship. So that was a quick overview on the USS Independence. Despite the gloomy review, it is a lot of fun to play at the end of the day, but I can't wait to get to the Saipan and harass the hell out of the lower tier CVs as part of my revenge. Tomorrow, we will close the week with a look at another Japanese cruiser, the Chikuma. Things slowly start to get more interesting on this line as well. Take care guys, and happy torpedo runs to everyone!